Hello, welcome to Around the House with Kay and Tom, and today we're going to make us some beef lovers spaghetti here. And we're going to start out with some of these Italian style meatballs. We got some of this 3 pepper and onion blend here. That is a real good seasoning blend if you've never tried it. We've got some of this RAGU old world style sauce. This is the traditional. We've got some Rotel tomatoes here. And if that's not enough, when it looks like that's not enough, I'll put another can in there because that's real good tomatoes. I'm going to use better than bouillon instead of beef broth or something like that. I'm going to use better than bouillon. And of course, I got a pound of ground beef here. And this is 80-20, I do believe. And then well, I got it when it was on sale and I froze it so I didn't freeze the label, so I think it's 80-20. But anyway, and then I'm going to use a half a box of spaghetti here. So now, let's get started with it over here in this Ninja Foodie Deluxe. Okay, now I just like to put my ground beef down in the cold pot before it's ever even heated or anything. I'll turn on the power. And take my selector knob here and go down over here to SEAR saute, and it's on high, and I'm going to hit the start button and it says on. Now it's going to take a couple minutes for it to get warm in here, but as soon as it does, I'm going to take my meat and potato masher here and I'm going to get in here and start breaking it apart. You know, when it, well, I'll go ahead and start breaking it apart now, come to think of it. And then when it gets to sizzling here, we're going to get it all broke up good. Just keep on, you know, you don't, especially when we put meatballs in it, so you don't want any big hunks left down there, you know, you just want to get it all broke up good. Okay, now as you can see, this is simmering along pretty good here. And there's not much pink left down in there. It's about all brown. It's all broke up real well. Now, I'll just let that sit there for a second. That's what I like about this thing, set up anywhere. Now I've got 2 cups of this seasoning blend here, and so, and I will leave all the ingredients and everything in the description down below, and the recipe. Get all those scraped out there. I don't want to lose any of it. That's good stuff. Now, get that broke up around in this stuff. Cool that pot down a little bit. There you go. Now, if you've never fixed anything like this before, you're in for a big treat if you fix this. This is really good stuff. Okay, that's simmering pretty good, and I went ahead and turned the power off on this pot here. I'll sort of get it all about level down here, spread out. Okay, now our next thing. Now we're going to get my spaghetti out here, and I'm going to use a little bit more than half of this. So I'm going to use about, well, I'll try to get out about 3/4 of it and use it if I can get it out. Now, alright, now I'm going to say that's about 1/4 of it right there. And so I'm going to I'm guesstimating that's about 3/4 of that pound. So now we're going to come over here to this pot, and I'm going to try to break it in half, which ain't easy. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. I can do it like that, but I don't want it all of a sudden just going everywhere. So let me do part of it, and then I'll get the other part. Now, this is much easier, so you just break it like that, and I still heard little pieces hitting back there. So, now this is important. When you start putting this down in here, don't lay it all right side by side each other. You need to crisscross it and make it look like it's a little bird nest or something, because if you put it all in there right side by side of each other, it's going to, some of it has the possibility of sticking together. And then see, that's too much for me right there. I don't even like that much to be together, so I was trying to separate it a little bit with this. Like that. Alright, now let me see if I can get the rest of this up here. Put it on in. Like I see, if you see something that's all look like it's already stuck together, just reach down your finger and sort of separate it a little bit, you know. Because there's nothing any worse than how it weighs. Lots of worse things, but it's bad when you open up your pot of spaghetti and you start to get your spaghetti out, and it's one big glob of spaghetti all stuck together, you know. That's not very appetizing. That's not good. And by the way, this pot I'm putting this in is really hot. So when you touch it, you have a tendency to say, ouch. You know? So, and don't get no rush just because you're getting close to the end. Still make sure you're keeping it separated as much as you can. You know, that's going to be good right there. Well, I'll tell you what, I cooked this a couple of weeks ago for some friends that came over, and they just loved it. So we'll see how this goes. So now the next thing we need to do okay, now we'll put this spaghetti sauce in there, and this is a 2-pound container, and so we'll put it down in here. Now try to pour it around the edges, so they say. I really don't know what the, well, I do know what the point of it is too. They claim it goes down and it helps you keep from getting a burn notice on your pot, because you got some liquid down there in the bottom, but we're going to put more liquid in it anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. There we go. Alright, now the next thing. Okay, now I've got this little measuring cup here with about 2 cups of right out boiling water. And we'll use about 2 teaspoons of this better than bouillon. Put down there and mix it up. Now the warmer your water, the easier this is to mix up. Well, especially after this, because this after you open it up, you have to keep it refrigerated, and it gets a little on the thick side. And so, but you get this water warm enough, and it don't matter, because it's going to come up. It doesn't matter because it's going to get real liquidy anyway. And if it doesn't, oh, that spaghetti sauce is good. And if it doesn't, when you put it in the, when you put your pressure lid on, it'll start softening up then. Now the first thing I'm going to do is shake this around so I don't waste any in this jar here. Just pour a little bit in there and mix it all up. I got just about all the rest of it. So you're not wasting any of your sauce that way. And now we're going to put this, the rest of this, can't believe it's not bouillon, down in there. Now it doesn't matter, just pour it right down the middle like this. There you go. Now we'll go put these rotel tomatoes in here on top of it. Just like that. Now I know I'm probably going to wish I put more in there, but I'll just use that one can for this and we'll see how it turns out. Now we're going to put these Italian meatballs in there. I think I'm going to put 6 down in there. See how that works out. And you know, it's yours, so if you get to where you think it needs more, well, you just add more in there for yourself, you know. I'm going to put them around in here like this. I think we'll put 8. And one for good measure there. Made it 9. Okay, now. Okay, now we're going to take our pressure lid here. We're going to line up the arrows in the front, turn it clockwise till it stops. Come back here to this valve. Come back here to this valve right here. Make sure it's turned over here to seal and not vent. Okay, and then come down here and you turn on your power and you set it over here. You take your selector knob and turn it up here till it gets to pressure. It's on high for 10 minutes. High we want, 10 minutes we don't. So you hit the timer here, it starts flashing. We're going to go down to, we're going to leave it at 8 minutes. Okay, and then you go hit the start button. Okay, now there it goes. Now, as y'all know, it's got a whole lot in that pot, so it's going to take it a while for it to, for this little button to pop up here. That little button to pop up there before it starts pressure cooking. So, we'll be back when it does. Okay, now it's starting to spit and sputter and some steam come out of it. I'll tell you what, it sure does smell good in here already. The aroma coming out from around that pin there where it's coming up, that sure does smell good. And it's been in there 15 minutes now. The pin still hasn't popped up. But you got to remember, there's a whole lot in this pot. And that's one thing you got to remember when you're doing your cooking time. Although this only going to cook for 8 minutes. You have to take in consideration it's got to be this 15 or maybe 16 or 17 minutes now before the pin drops up, you know, and it takes you another 5 minutes to fix it. So you got to take all that into account when you say, you know, what time dinner is going to be. So we'll be back when the pin comes up. I'll let you know how long it is. Alright, there it came up finally. It took 19 minutes for that pin to come up. Okay, now most of you know that these little lights will keep on flashing here until it builds up a little bit more pressure. I don't understand why it does that, but it does. But anyway, it'll keep on doing that until it builds up enough pressure inside to start cooking, I guess, or until it thinks it is, and then it'll start counting down my 8 minutes. And so while we're waiting on that, how about give me a thumbs up and join our channel if you can. Just push the little button over on the side where it says subscribe. And so, thank you very much to you folks that watches our videos. Whether you subscribe or not, thank you very much for watching our videos. So, we'll be back in a minute and I'll let you know how long this took. Okay, and there it went now. It took 3 minutes for that to start counting down after the little silver button popped up back there. Now, we know about how long it's going to take now, because we'll be back when the 7 minutes and 45 seconds goes by. Okay, now we're down under 15 seconds here on this cook. Now, when it gets down to the end, I'm going to let it rest for another 5 minutes before I open the top of that lid there. So that's done, and now it's going to say warm, and it starts counting up seconds till it gets to minutes. And so it's an easy way to know when you get to 5 minutes. So I'm just going to let it sit there and rest for 5 minutes, then we'll go release the valve back there. Okay, and we're coming up on that 5-minute rest time now, and there it is. And I'm going to move this around a little bit so I can get a better control and hold on it. And I'll put you over here so you can see what happens when I turn this thing to vent. All right, now the 5 minutes is up. Actually 5 minutes and 20 seconds. And we'll turn it to vent. Okay, now it's bound to be about to the end here, and it took another 6.5 minutes for that to finish letting off steam. It hadn't dropped yet, but it's getting ready to, because it's not making any noise anymore, and usually that's a good sign. So, like I said, it took 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And there it goes. Now, turn it counterclockwise. Make sure you don't let this thing come up your face, because it's still got a lot of hot steam in it. Turn it away from your face like that, and look at them meatballs. Now, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Look at that stuff right there now. Let me tell you, every time I've cooked this is only the second time I've made it with the meatballs. I made it a couple of days ago for some people. But every time we cook this stuff, even if I cook a pot this big and there's nobody here but us, see how that spaghetti separates like that? See, now that's stuck together like that. It's all just separate strands. You know, now if you lay it in there on one pile like that, it's all going to be stuck together and such. But what I was saying was, even I cook a big pot like this and there's no one here with us, we never wind up throwing any of this away, because I put it in a big bowl and put it in the fridge, and before it ever even thinks about going bad, we're going to have it eat up. So, let's get me out a plate here and see what it's going to look like. Let me get to where you can see it when I put it on the plate. Now, look at that. And that's right here at lunchtime too. Get me out 2 of these meatballs. Oh, that got away. And one more. That's probably enough for my lunch. I don't really need a whole lot more than that for lunch. Put that right back in there like that. Come over here and get some good old Kraft Parmesan grated cheese here. Don't that look delicious? I tell you, if you ever even thought you liked spaghetti before, this is a great one-pot meal. You know, I mean, it's going to feed at least 4 normal people. You know, so turn my machine off here. Let me get a fork so I can try it real quick. It's cool enough to try. I want to try one of these meatballs too. I want to get one over here. Now, as usual, I forgot to put any salt and pepper in it. So you salt and pepper it to your taste. Now, I'll tell you the truth on those meatballs. If you go to IKEA and you get some of those Swedish meatballs, these are not quite as good as those are, but they're pretty good. I mean, you don't have any trouble eating these. They're not as good as those IKEA Swedish meatballs, though. But IKEA is about an hour away from me, so maybe a little bit further. I really want to try about this without getting it all over my shirt. And without burning myself. Okay, that's about it for this little video. And you see I added more to my plate here. Now I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you, and I hope you'll really try some of this sometimes, because it sure is delicious. And like I say, it's a one-pot meal, and I think your whole family will like it, you know. So until next time, y'all have a real good and safe day, and come back and see us as soon as you can. And give us a thumbs up and join our channel if you can. And thanks for watching our video. So the next time, goodbye now.